Welcome to the Ultimate Founder podcast. Today's guest is Ross Colquhoun. Ross is founder of the Training Club, an all-male gym in the Northeast. On today's podcast, we talk about why he specifically built an all-male gym, his mission to support men in this country, and how he's going to change the way that men operate today. Ross, great to have you. I've been really looking forward to this conversation. So welcome to the Ultimate Founder podcast. We've known each other for quite some time now, probably 2 years, through various mentorships and networks, and we'll come on to that later. But first of all, what would be great is for you to give an intro to yourself so everyone knows who you are and a bit about your journey to date.
So my name's Ross. I'm 29 years old, and I founded the first male-only fitness brand called the Training Club. Coming up to 6 years this August.
Wow.
I have a background in professional sport, playing for Sunderland for 10 years. That's my background. And then went through all the natural kind of trials and tribulations of going at the fitness industry, coaching classes, becoming a personal trainer, working for myself, and then opening a gym.
Amazing. And before your journey into sport, what was life like for young Ross? Because that determines, I guess, the journey to where you probably are now.
I think on reflection, I've actually been doing this quite a lot over the last probably a couple of months, if I'm honest, through various reasons. But I think on reflection, I didn't live a normal childhood. You don't when you're in the football world at that level. From the age of 9, you're in like a professional setup where training is just literally it's like every day. It's a huge part of your life. You go to school, as soon as you're home, you're shipped off to go and train, and that's your whole night's consumed, and it's bed, and you just do the same thing on repeat. So it was quite an intense childhood. Didn't do anything that my friends would normally do. The school trips away, the house parties and things like that, all that type of stuff. It was just, my whole life was just football and high performance and doing extra to be the best.
And where do you think that came from?
I think it comes from parents, to be honest, recognizing potential and then being steered down a certain path, and then wanting to impress them as well. So there'd be daft things that I remember, like I wasn't allowed to come back in the house if I hadn't done X amount of keepy-ups or hadn't practiced certain amounts of headers, or, you know what I mean? And I always did extra work. I'd go to Brazilian soccer schools on top of academy training. So it'd be school boys, academy, and then Brazilian soccer schools. And then I'd have a speed coach, and like we're just constantly just at it, focusing on every single detail possible.
And in doing all of that, do you look now to where you are now, and do you think that structure and discipline has kind of helped you in where you are today?
I think so. I think it's impossible to say that it didn't.
Yeah.
And I think, especially when I went full time in football, I think the demand and the pressure and the relentlessness of it, and having to be the best every single day, no matter what, because no one cares if you're having an off day or how you're feeling or whatever. You've got to be performing no matter what. And I think you can take all of those things into business, which I think is definitely like my capacity for stress, my capacity for worrying what people think. Like I've had early exposure to those things in life. Do you know what I mean? So when it comes to stepping into the world of working for yourself or business, I feel like I've been almost groomed and ready for it. You know what I mean? I'm primed to do it. Which I'm grateful for.
Yeah, and I think that, like, I can see that from the times that we've spent together, how focused, disciplined, relentless, I'd say, as well you are. What led to you coming out of professional football?
The typical story would be I got injured, but it wasn't that. I think I've always been a realist. Like, I just wasn't good enough. You just didn't get a new deal. If you were good enough, you would have a new deal, simple as that. And it was never put on the table for me. And then I did the typical thing of trying to force it and go to various clubs. the financial side of things just never really, from the offers that I got, were never really going to work out. And if I wasn't as realistic and mature as I was at the age, I probably would have took those offers.
Yeah.
But then ended up hating it. But I was mature enough at the time to understand that it wasn't right, and it just, I just kind of worked myself down the leagues essentially. And then I wanted to pursue a career in something that I enjoyed. The only thing that I did enjoy was the fitness element, which I'd learned that was the case through all the S&C work that we do at Sunderland and stuff. So that was a natural kind of progression for me, I think.
And did you go straight from that into then like the training world, the fitness world, straight out of?
Yeah, I had a weird period where I was extremely lost. And for someone who always likes to have direction, somewhat be in control, I went through a period of being like extremely low, like I say, lost, didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing.
Right.
And I went and worked for one of my tutors actually, who was doing because we obviously had to still do schoolwork and stuff when we were in the youth team and things. And she had her own little fitness business, local to here actually. And she gave me like my first kind of job, I guess, outside of football, which was just delivering classes in a park. And that's literally where it started, in Barnes Park.
Really?
Which is like 10 minutes away from here.
And then I guess then roll the clock forward to 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Probably COVID.
Yeah, we opened the first month we were allowed out to essentially play.
Yeah.
And go back to some form of normality. After the first big lockdown, that was when I opened the gym. So I secured the lease while we're in lockdown.
Right.
And then opened the first month.
And that was a bold decision, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
No, you kind of said, right, I'm going to do it. What was that early phase like for you, and as a founder? Because I think a lot of people have great aspirations to set a business up, great ideas, but I don't think really much prepares them for the emotional challenge and the reality of actually trying to get customers and trying to make money and deal with that. What was it like for you in those early days?
For me, it was as stressful as I made it.
Right.
And because I was so relentless with always acting and making decisions as if I was further down the line than what I was, I'd always push things a little bit too far. But that's actually what I think at the time was my superpower. And I was already capable of handling so much stress and pressure that it didn't like throw me off. And I just kept going and banged my head against the wall and doing the thing, like to a point where I was earning pretty much no money, because I opened with 24 members. My personal training business prior to COVID was flying. I was earning the most money I've ever earned in my life, even to this day, which obviously enabled me to set it up. But then because we just come out of COVID, I actually only opened with 24 men committed to coming in. So instantly I'm in the red, essentially, which I'd done before earlier on in my career, in my personal training career. But luckily, again, timing's everything. I was living at home. And I was playing football on a Saturday still and getting a little bit of pocket money. So I knew that I could kind of take a little bit more risk, but I was still in the red. Like I think I was taking £2,500 a month.
Right.
But I think my bills were 3.5.
Right.
And I knew I had like 6 months to get myself in the green, essentially.
And a bold decision I think you made. Could even say semi-controversial, right? Is you made it all men.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
So I actually started pursuing and like scratching this itch around this male-only concept prior to COVID.
Yeah.
Because I felt as though I wanted to be an online coach, the typical kind of journey, the laptop lifestyle. And I paid a hefty investment to work with an online mentor. And through the language that I was displaying and the way I, obviously with my football background, I wanted to have like insane professionalism, but then also have the changing room kind of vibe where you're like, you bant on each other, but you want to push each other and get the best out of each other. So then I started to cultivate these small little groups in the gym that I was working at. And I just started to see like the power of men coming together in a fitness environment. Because obviously I only ever knew it in football and then change rooms, but I seen it in a fitness environment where everyone's like trying to work on themselves and be better. And I seen them pushing each other, and I seen like the fist pumps at the end, and then the conversations that we're having. And I had a 16-year-old who was training with a 45-year-old, but they got on as if they were peers, and I'm thinking, this is so, like, it's magic, this. Like, this is really good. And I thought, if I'm going to have a space, I just want to be bold. I want to do whatever the fuck I want to do. And I just went all in on the male thing. That was literally it. And it's obviously now the mission, the vision has grew so much legs, momentum, and I've got so much more clarity and a much more deeper meaning to the mission now. But at the time, I was genuinely just following my gut and my heart of what I enjoyed doing. I wanted to find enjoyment in my work. And I knew that the guys buzzed off it. So it was like, why not? And it was bold, but I think my naivety at the time, don't get me wrong, it did cross my mind, like, fucking hell, can I do male only? But I think at the time I just thought, yeah, of course I can, why not? Yeah. And I made sure I got media trained on it.
I really?
Just to cover my back.
Interesting. So you went and got media trained, so you can cover that off.
Yeah.
Well, something you just said there, you said about the naivety. I actually think the naivety is a gift in the early phases of a founder, because actually that's when you make those decisions that you have no clue of what the impact is. So you can kind of roll with it and roll with it. It can come around and bite you in the backside, but actually the naivety of like, I'm just going to go with it, I think is such a nice thing, because I think the bigger the business gets, the less naive sometimes you are, which can hold you back as well. So gone male only, and having sort of seen your journey over the last few years and what you're building, talk to me about what the training club is really about. What does it mean to you?
For me, the training club has become the modern standard for a man, the modern standard setter for a man. It's become a hub of like pursued excellence, in my opinion. Yeah. Like, it's a place that just being associated with it as a normal man, you instantly feel the need to show up, which I think naturally then pulls a new level of someone. I think it's became a hub for like transformation, but on so many levels. I think it's became a place that reinstills belief in men, and creates the feeling that they are capable of more than what they ever thought possible for themselves. And honestly, I'm so proud of it. Genuinely I am. I genuinely see it being nationwide, worldwide. I think the mindset that we have, our ability to create like a brotherhood type of feel, community, where we have the change room banter, but a level of like just want to be better, and everyone gets the rub of it as soon as they become part of the ecosystem, and it's so powerful. It's an environment where we challenge people to not accept where they currently are in life and where they currently are mentally as well, and how they perceive themselves.
And it's so like hearing you say that, because when I look at the training club, it's more than a gym. It's not a gym. It's a way of life for people. And I think when we first started talking and working together, we talked about the gym. It's kind of, I think I use a phrase like a vehicle or something.
Like a tool.
A tool, right, to use. But I think it is definitely more than that. You know, having spent some time with you and the boys this morning, the passion, the energy, I guess the desire to want to do better. And I think it for me, it does start with the body. It starts with, you know, physiology before the psychology. But I sense now there's momentum. And I think as a brand, you've started to get momentum with some of the stuff that you're doing. When you say you want to take it sort of wider, what does that look like really for you? Like if we roll the clock forward 5-10 years from now, give me the training club.
Before I properly answer the question, I feel like we're in and you've kind of alluded this, brought this visual to the forefront of my brain. The male only space is somewhat in like a hockey stick moment. as is the training club as a brand. We've been doing this eating, sleeping and shitting, as the saying goes, for the last 6 years. And all the big brands are starting to jump on it as a trend.
Yeah.
But it's forced. Ours is like, it's in our DNA.
Yeah.
It's who we are. We are pioneers of the space. Whether we're known to people or not, we are. We have a superpower, in my opinion, to be able to cultivate all the things that I've mentioned before, through real like moments and environments and real people, normal people, like the working class man of the Northeast, you know what I mean? And where I see it going is, and I've got a lot more self-belief in the mission, even more so now, because I'm starting to realise just how fundamental working the body is, and just how fundamental creating an environment like what we've got, where you can come and express yourself and exert yourself physically, the knock-on effect of that. So what's going on in the world now is you're getting people who are, is it hobbyists, is that a word?
Yeah.
Right? So they're jumping on it, okay? And it's amazing because they're still doing their part. And you've got people doing their walking groups because that's the thing that helped them. You've got people sitting around in circles and talking and things like that. But I don't actually think it's going to have the impact that they plan to, because those things, those environments aren't actually, they're not relatable enough to men. All right. So you're still relying on like a micro or like a certain type of person. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas fitness, for all it's still scary for people to step in a gym, and maybe it's to step in a male-only gym, I get that. But it's still the most relatable and scalable thing for a man. So therefore, I believe we are the first step in a man unlocking his potential, becoming more confident, transforming his physique, transforming his mind. We are the stepping stone for that whole process. So when you say, like, where do I see the training club? I see us like, it's almost our obligation to make this available to as many men as possible everywhere. Whether that be from a physical site, whether that be from an online platform that just can be a touch point in a man's life where they can apply, where they can challenge themselves to be disciplined every single day. Or they can train like us, they can think like us from a mindset perspective. That's what we're trying to cultivate here. One massive nationwide brotherhood community where everyone is going against the modern standard of a man, which is mediocrity. Do you know what I mean? And I feel really passionate about it because, again, another example is people are putting on retreats and things, but for someone to even want to go to that, like if you say to me, do you want to go on a retreat? I'll be like, I'm not really sure. Is it going to be like, you associate with like woo-woo sitting around, and you know what I mean? For a man to even consider that, they have to go through what we have first, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the different phases of personal development, self-evolution is at some phase you might look at that retreat as woo-woo or a spiritual thing that be quite woo-woo. But I think that doesn't become woo-woo as you go through the phases of development, because you realise that the next level of thinking, the next level of consciousness could involve some of those things. And I think with men, I don't think nowadays, I think it's a conflicted views of the world now around, to what coin a phrase, the modern man. We have lots of conversations about it. What's the problem nowadays?
There's not enough environments that are forcing men to step up. There's not enough relatable environments for them to go and be men.
Yeah. It's
not that we haven't got enough things in place for men, it's they're not the right ones.
Okay.
It's you've got pubs, which is obviously quite a negative place in some respect. You've got talking groups, suicide helplines, therapists. There's probably a few more, but none of them are relatable enough in a positive manner either. Yeah, none of them are a call up in standards in their current default behaviours. Yeah, and everyone's scared to challenge. That's the biggest thing. listening and talking is I'm a massive advocate of it, but it doesn't actually fix the problem, unfortunately. So more environments that can challenge somebody to work towards a standard is the biggest problem in the UK and in men in 2026.
Yeah, I agree. So obviously there's been a lot of publicity recently about a certain documentary. I'm not going to give it time of day to name it. Around, this kind of, coin a phrase, this, I'm going to use it, manosphere, right? What's wrong with society? What are we doing wrong, or what should we be doing more now? Particularly for, I look at it, I've got a 21-year-old young man of a son. What should we be doing? What can we be doing?
I think there's a lack of leaders in the world, and that's like our children and the people who are coming up. Like you said, you've got a son who's 21. Like, he's going to look up to you as his leader, and unfortunately, men are extremely lost because of society and because of what they're consuming and because of what their misconception of what it means to be masculine and things like that, and how women are becoming more self-sufficient and stronger and outspoken and things like that, and doing things for themselves. Like, that's then men don't know how to be masculine. They don't know how to lead their masculine energy. They don't know how to respect feminine energy. They don't know how to respect women and their masculine energy. Like, there's just such a misconception of what it is to be a man. And there's a lack of role models, there's a lack of leadership, and there's a lack of want to be better in the world, in my opinion. Like, I think there's so many men are just accepting of the situation.
How do you live your life? Because I see how you live within the confines of the fitness space, but also had the fortunate thing to know you personally. How do you live your life to be that type of person? What are your standards? What are your non-negotiables? What are your values? Because I genuinely think, this podcast for me was one of the ones that I was most looking forward to, because I have the same mission as you in terms of men as well.
Yeah. Very
passionate. What are those standards? So someone can listen to this, go, actually, yeah, I get it.
Two of the biggest ones for me, which I speak to Brandon quite a lot about, is self-awareness. And for me personally, humility, to know that I haven't got it all figured out, and to be able to to operate from a place of humility so that I can listen, hear, consume, and then apply to myself if needed. You know what I mean? And I can assess certain things based on what I hear. Like, I learn a lot. I have learned and always learn from my partner. She's taught me a lot. And if I had the ego, I would have had my blockers up, and I wouldn't have been I wouldn't have been able to receive that. And then for me, that's where the problems start.
Yeah.
So it's like a level of openness, humility, self-awareness, and the want to be better. Like, that'll never leave me. At the end of the day, I'm an athlete at heart, and I want to be a high performer. I want to be the best version of me, whether that's as a partner, as a founder, business owner, athlete, whatever it may be. I just want to know that I've had a good crack at it.
Yeah. And when it comes to those values, and then linking it into the training club and the community and what you're doing and some of the broader stuff, values is always a very kind of woo-woo topic again when it comes to business. What's your thoughts on how to ingrain or embed some of those values without telling, preaching?
It's a very good question. I'll tell you a story as to how I've come to understand them, first and foremost. I've always obsessed over Sir Alex Ferguson and Manchester United and the treble winning side, and how they've kind of how he instilled high performance and values in the changing room without even having to be there. I was mesmerised by it. I don't know why. I've always just been mesmerised by it, and I've studied it. And I think it's always starts leader first and showing.
Yeah.
And people get the rub of that. Again, it's how you create culture, in my opinion. It starts top down in the smallest behaviours, and not overlooking and being capable of applying like a radical candor line of communication. So like if you see something that isn't to the standard, do not be afraid to say something, because at the end of the day, it's for the betterment of this whole mission that we're on, or company, or whatever it is, or for your family. If you stand by a set of values and someone doesn't align to them, you need to get comfortable calling that out in the moment, in my opinion.
Yeah.
To a point where then said people start to see and feel the reward of living to said standard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think over time, that standard that you live by each day, repeated over time, then becomes something that we all then value because we know the importance of it. And then it's just a case of, it's like the waterfall effect of everyone who's then comes into that ecosystem, who gets exposed to said standards and behaviours and habits. They then fucking make sure everybody else falls in line with it. That's how I've kind of done it within the training club, if I'm honest. It's like an unspoken thing now. You earn everything. Everything's earned, one of our company kind of mottos. It's something I've always lived my life by. When we had our boardroom day, the first session that we had, I was going off on a tangent, going to do something crazy, which would have ruined the training club from a business perspective. But then you asked me stuff around my values, and it was like, well, I believe I've got to earn everything in life, and I don't want to live beyond my means. And when you brought that to the surface again, I was like, what the fuck? That decision does not make any sense at all, because I haven't earned the right to do that yet.
I remember that.
So earning the right is on the floor as you walk in the gym. You have to earn the right to do anything and everything in this life. Nothing's going to be handed to you. And the entitled mindset is something that I just don't abide by, and I don't want it around me. With that said, ownership is a massive one within our company and within the men, and my friends and the people that I live with on a day to day. Is you are in this situation that you're in right now, and it's your doing, nobody else's. Take ownership of it. You're responsible for said result, said outcome, said KPI if we're talking business. Like, take ownership of everything, and only you can do something about it.
I see that. I think a lot is taking personal responsibility.
Massively.
Is you are accountable for your own life, your decisions, what you do. It's no one else's. And I think you demonstrate that very well in the training club and the culture that you've built. Now, you're a founder. You've got one facility at the moment. Tell me, as I know you will, what's it really like being a founder?
The only way I can describe it is one day or 1 hour you can feel like you're winning, and the next you feel like you're losing. And it's just a constant mind fuck.
Yeah.
Genuinely it is.
Yeah.
And it's just, have you got the appetite to just keep going and going and going and going? And almost like, one of the most important things that I've managed to do over my years of maturing as a business owner and founder is desensitizing myself to emotion within certain things. Because when you become emotion-led, it clouds a lot of things, and it can really, really bog you down. Your decision making. It can throw you off the mission and vision massively because you get in your own head. But it is relentless, and I think now more than ever, it's a game of running your own race, which I quote from Mr. Danny Wicks, putting your blinkers on and not worrying what anyone else is doing. And the new currency in this world is focus. And that's how I would wrap up founder in a sentence. I
think it is focus. I think it's so easy to get distracted, particularly with social media now and seeing what everyone's doing. How do you manage that, I guess, journey whilst having a team? Because I've worked with founders where they find it very difficult, and the emotion of the business suddenly is the emotion of the team. How do you manage that?
I think our brand, right, our message and vision is so true and authentic to every single person in my team. Whenever I've had gym owners come up, they're like, how do you get them to work so hard? I'm like, I don't get them to. We're all pioneering that name above the door. The mission is so much bigger than all of us. That's the difference. Your employees feel like they're going to work. Mine feel like they're actually on a life pursuit here, and they'll do whatever it takes to achieve it. And with that, obviously, they get more recognition in the industry. They'll be remunerated in time. But in terms of like, and again, I think it does start top down, but in terms of needing to fire the team up, I have never ever had to do that really, unless we've been in a shitty situation. I think business is quite monotonous, and sometimes when you're a cog in said wheel, like my lads are obviously, and girls, Emily, to get them to a point where they understand that they just have to become world class at this thing that they do day in, day out. My job as the visionary is to have them see the importance and make that exciting enough for them so that they can keep doing that.
Yeah.
And that's the point that they're at the minute, because they've all got such ownership and their own businesses within the business. I've had to find a way to gamify it almost and create and make it exciting, and have them know like the knock-on effect of you fucking nailing this one thing that you've got under your name. But we are like a pack of dogs just getting after it every single day, genuinely. Yeah. And then you get found out very quickly in our place if you're not that.
Right, okay.
Very quickly. You can't hide, basically, because there's a certain operating standard in terms of just output and energy and belief, and like the way you communicate, the way you coach, like you're only as good as your last session. Every detail matters. Why haven't you prepared for that meeting? Like, we've got such a high performing culture now, where if you ain't matching that, you're fucking straight out the door.
Yeah, and I think when you actually look at the highest performing teams, it's all the little things that they do really, really well. It's all of the things that could be considered really boring are the things that make the thing tick. Turning up for a meeting on time, sending a report on time, preparing for a meeting in the right way, thinking ahead, good communication, good updates. All of those things like are fundamentals to a high-performing team. I think what happens is that they seem like HR admin tasks, and they're not. Right.
That's the hard thing though in our industry, is you're expecting these creative kind of charismatic coaches of training and exercises and fitness, and you're trying to then bring a commercial edge to them now as well, where admin, HR comes into it, and do you know what I mean? And they find it hard, and the ones who can adapt will move up the company, and the ones who can't, unfortunately, because we're such a small business, you're required to be a little bit of a generalist, and again, you get found out, and unfortunately, for where we're at now and where we're going, it's just not, it doesn't cut it, unfortunately. No. But yeah, the hardest thing, in my opinion right now, my hardest thing as a founder is keeping them focused and performing in the day-to-day. And then me kind of building and devising projects and strategies to grow the business, the awareness, the impact, the value that we can give, whilst also looking at sites which are 12 to 18 months away.
Yeah.
So you're thinking so far ahead, but then you've also got to then pull yourself into the now.
Yeah.
Which for where we're at in business, that kind of is my main role at the minute.
And what's been your biggest, I say biggest learning in the last sort of 12, 18 months? What's been some of the biggest learnings that you've had?
I think one of my biggest learnings is, and this is like I think this is the biggest problem in founder businesses, if I'm honest. And I don't know if it's ego-led or if it's just an inability to see it and a lack of awareness or whatever it is, but pressing pause on doing the tasks, right? Because it makes you feel good. You're getting that hit of dopamine and things like that. And then spending the time on actually teaching the thing to team members, trying to put a longer term mindset on things as opposed to in the now, right? Because it would be easier for me to just do the task. But if I can press pause and accept that it's not going to get done now, but the time I would spend doing the task, if I can then actually then go and teach it for the next 6 to 8 weeks, the knock-on effect of that long term is so much bigger. So spending the time to actually work with your team will then eventually allow you to be redundant in said thing.
Yeah.
But then that's another level of fuckery that then comes into it, because you then start to feel worthless. And that's what I've gone through lately.
Yeah.
Because my team this year are performing to such a high level because of the work that we've done together. We've been on a little bit of a mentorship growth plan, I guess, as a team, and working with myself, and I'm learning from them, they're learning from me, to a point now where I don't really get the dopamine hits that I used to get. Yeah. And I am genuinely redundant in a lot of things, which makes me start to think, fucking hell, like, what's my role here now? Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
In moments, anyway. Obviously, I know I've got a set of deliverables and KPIs, and I know what my work is and my job is, but that's a really hard thing. That's a big challenge.
And I think the way you've articulated that is so true. Is I actually don't think many founders really want to do that.
Honestly, that is the thing.
Yeah.
Like, they're so scared of becoming redundant, but then they'll still like bang their head off the wall as to, well, why can't I grow? Why can't I grow? Generally, that is the thing.
Yeah. And it's that, that's part of the process of developing a business, is upskilling people. And there's the old saying, the 10,000 hour rule, right? And I still talk about it in my business today about, you got to become a craftsman in something. Yeah. You got to master the art of something. And I think AI is a danger to that, because I don't think anyone's mastering the craft of anything. They're using the tool to be the master and putting the input in. But I think if you have a culture of learning and developing, and allowing people to make mistakes, because they're going to,
that's it.
You can't grow without that happening, right? You have to accept it's part of the journey. And if you look at businesses that, small businesses that have grown and scaled, they've brought in the right people on a cultural fit level more than the technical level, I think. And they've developed them to become and inherit the roles of what you were doing, taking off the hats and passing it over. I think that too many want the client side journey, the income, without the pain of the internal side journey, which is the development of staff, people, systems, process.
Yeah.
If you look at a lot of the things that you and I talk about, it wasn't really anything around the bits on the front end. It's more about the internal business. That's what we talked about a lot. And I think once you get that right, then the business, then you can start to look at the next phase of growth.
Yeah.
What scares you right now?
I fear not having the impact and unlocking the potential of our business that I know to my core that we can have in the industry.
And how do you make that? How do you counter that? What do you need to happen?
Honestly, I think it's just staying authentic to who we are and what the mission is. And as long as we stay aligned to that, then at the end of the day, you can always be happy. But unfilled potential is definitely the scariest thing. I'm still yet to answer that, I guess, in my own head.
And when you talk about unfilled potential, what is going to stop you achieving that?
Nothing. This is the thing, and that is my belief system, genuinely.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, it's still my biggest fear.
Yeah.
And that there sums up being a founder, if I'm honest. It's the constant fear of not achieving, but then you have this delusional optimism that it's going to happen anyway. But then it's going to fall to the decision making, a little bit of luck, staying authentic, creating opportunities and being at the forefront of everything, constantly learning, and constantly pushing our own potential, essentially.
Yeah. And the next phase of Training Club, where is that going?
Short term, the obvious decision for us, genuinely, and I've always been one to go against the status quo and really assess whether it's the right thing. So in our game, natural progression is you open gym number 2, or you get an online program, you become an online coach. They are natural progressions, but some people just do it because they think that's what they should be doing. I've genuinely got us to a point where we have earned the right. Like I said, everything's earned, and I've assessed the playing field, so to speak. And that is the right and obvious decision for us as a brand, to create an online community in which training will be a tool and a vehicle for a daily touch point of discipline for a man to show up for himself, change his physique. But there's going to be so much more to that product. Our in-person events, our online events are standouts in a man's calendar. The impact that they can have on another level, like on an even deeper level. And to tell you what I mean by that is when I mentioned earlier about the foot in the door is the gym. It's the physical side of things. From there, they start to think differently, believe in themselves a little bit more, and get curious. And that's the exciting part, because then they can move up a level, in my opinion. And they start attending like a men's day where we might be talking about goal setting. We might be talking about masculinity. We might go deeper into these things that will then just start adding things to this whole picture of what it is to be a man, because it's not just all about physical. It's not just all about discipline. It's not just all about overcoming challenges and things. There is so much more to it. But again, you've got to earn the right, in my opinion. So the online space for us, that's the obvious choice. We can have the most impact that way. It's the most scalable, of course. We don't need nor want to compete with people who've got the £1 million apps. That's not our game. That's why it is so true and right for us, because I want to be the best at everything. So if that was the case, I actually wouldn't even go into it, because we're not going to have the best app. We're not going to have this and that. But this version is true to us, and we can do that better than anybody else. So we're going to go and do it. Side 2, physical expression, is so important to us. And again, it's just right for us as a brand. It's not me trying to scratch my ego of like, oh, I'm a guy with 2 gyms. It's right for us. Genuinely it is. But the thing it'll always fall to is the people, the team. So we also have uncovered and understand that we need to start building an ecosystem of coaches who have our same belief system and mindset and way of life, and want to have the same impact on men. So that's a whole different thing, which we're going to explore, like a little bit of a TC Academy, like a development system program, so that when we do go to open different sites, we've got people already in our ecosystem ready to go in.
Amazing. And one thing we have spoken about is about money. And I think a lot of people go into business or founders with money at the forefront of really why they do it. I think a lot of the time. Tell me why, explain, it'd be great for people to understand why that's never been for you.
I genuinely just care about impacting people and creating change. Someone asked me what I'd want my gravestone to say or something, and it would be that, and I said to him it would be that he believed in me more than I believed in myself. And I genuinely have a passion for just helping people and having a conversation, like, and making them think I can do that. Like, that is genuinely my thing, and the gym is an expression of that. The money side of things, honestly, I can't remember the last time I made a decision because of monetary gain, honestly. To the point where I was working with a group of people in the past on a mentorship level where their aim was to keep me pushing the price up, which I obviously understand. But I understand my people, my area, my region. I understand what I'm doing this for. And what my mission became so authentically clear to me that putting money up was never going to have me fulfilled. Like, my life probably wouldn't change if I had more money right now, genuinely. I go on holiday, I like to eat out, I like to spend time with my partner. And that's literally it. Wouldn't change. So, yeah, I understand money to be like an energy source, to do good things, to create change, to to create feelings and emotions and stuff. That's generally how I view money.
Yeah.
So I made the decision based on being driven towards price increases and just keep pushing it and pushing it. Charge your worth. I believe it could be worth £1,000 a month, but doesn't mean it's going to help us achieve what we want. So we actually did a massive price cut, and everybody else was going up. We took a hit and swallowed £7,500 a month into the business somehow. That was fucking pressure again, by the way. Serious pressure.
I remember.
Because we actually didn't have that to lose, but we had to work so hard to close the gap and market ourselves and reposition ourselves as this brand that is so truly on this mission, and you need to come and be part of it. That we just took a massive hit, and we've only just got back this month to where we were at 9 months ago. Mm-hmm. So it's just been an uphill slog. But the fulfillment level, and when you see that gym operating the way it does, and you see the results and the impact and the mindset of the gym, the mentality of it and the culture, it's just like, it's everything. Genuinely is. And I'm only feeling an immense sense of pride now speaking about it, because when you're in the day-to-day, you don't really stop to do that, do you?
And I don't think you're one to pat yourself on the back, really.
Yeah.
Saying that with respect, I don't think you are. You don't tell me I've done a great job. I think you go, right, done that. What's the next thing? And I think you've built a phenomenal business, and I think the future I think the impact is a given for me. I just know, you just know.
Yeah.
And I know I'm on that same journey as you, right? I'm a champion of the cause. I'd like to talk about our time together, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
So we spent some time together probably 15 months ago. Right, we probably first started working together. What was your experience like, in our time together?
Yeah, well, I mean, the first session, as I've already mentioned earlier, probably saved me £300,000 and a whole world of fucking chaos. If not, genuinely, could have been the end of the training club, genuinely, on reflection. Because when I got into renovating the gym, which was then the decision that we came to, that almost fucking crippled us as it was, let alone moving to a bigger site to achieve this thing that I was trying to achieve. But you forced me to start leading from a place of values, and I'd never been coached like that before.
Right.
And that's been extremely impactful for me, because now I can then take that learning and apply it to everything and everyone. And I think it's the truest way to lead yourself as a man and to coach from, genuinely, them principles of values first. And I think you gain so much clarity and fulfillment from leading from that place as well. And I think I genuinely feel like that piece of learning there, I feel like I've completed it in terms of like the secret code to decision making.
Really?
Genuinely, because it's like, well, is that aligned to you, yes or no? Well, if it's not, then you don't fucking do it. And you save yourself so much headache and money and stress and everything. And so that, if that was to summarize our time together, I would say the pivotal moment for me was that first session.
I think you then, everything fell off the back of that. What is a good coach?
A good coach is someone who can ask good questions and who can understand who is in front of them quickly, sometimes in a better way than they even know themselves. I think it's a skill of a coach to know how someone ticks very quickly from the language that they use. So you've got to be a very good listener, and then ask good questions. Yeah, I actually think coaching is fundamentally those two things: listening, asking good questions.
Do you think coaching? Do you think it doesn't have the right? What's the word? I say reputation. You talk biggest business coaching, mentorships.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of, if I'm honest, and I'm happy to say it, I think there's a lot of charlatans out there. What's your take on sort of business coaching, mentorship?
I think 99% are in it to make money. Simple as that. They see vulnerable people who are desperate to make money as well, which is why then people kind of match up. Do you know what I mean? But I'm kind of like an authentic guy who wears his heart on his sleeve, who's true to a mission, and I found someone naturally.
Yeah.
You find your crowd, and that was kind of you at the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it has got a bad stigma, and rightly so, to be honest. I actually think rightly so. Yeah.
I think when you come off mission, that's the thing. Yeah. If you come off mission, your whole decision making becomes a different way and out of alignment. So you and I this weekend are hosting 30.
There's actually 36 people coming.
36
confirmed.
36 people, men.
All men.
All men, as part of the House of Leaders and a partnership with my brand, The Ultimate Founder. Really excited for it. You know, looking forward to sort of facilitating and running that. What does this mean to you?
It's definitely selfishly, right, a personal challenge for me. I see it as, I understand the impact you had on me and just how important it was, because being a business owner, a leader, is extremely difficult. There's a lot going on in your head because you're thinking for other people all the time. And I know that because of the niche that we're in, and our mission is to impact and help men, that an element of where the most struggle can be is for people who are in leadership positions and business owners and stuff like that. And I just thought I would love to have a deeper impact on those guys and help them a little bit on a deeper level. And also there's power in having people know that they're not the only person going through said thing, or they've got, it's just nice for everyone to come together and see that all their problems are the same. So personally, it's a challenge for me in terms of a next stage of development, in terms of being able to have even further impact. But also it's just such a nice thing to create environments and facilitate environments. That's what I think I pride myself on. And have the guys press pause, just take a fucking breather. Yeah. And bounce off each other and get some clarity.
You know, I liken that and the words you used around the training club is to kind of the reason for me. I never had a vision to create a group, community, support, peer group. But I come from a changing room background myself. And for me, I know how important that is when you're around like-minded people and you've got people, championing your cause. And that was, for me, the Ultimate Founder is about that. Is people wanting each other to succeed.
Yeah.
There is no ego. If you've got an ego, don't even come in the room. Like, it's not about making the most money. It's absolutely not about that. It's about actually becoming the best version of you, but also helping others to become the best version of them. And I think when you give, you gain. Like, if you give to someone, it's a funny thing that happens, and I can't even describe the psychology of it. But when you give something, what you're really doing is re-educating yourself in your own business, in your own life, to go and take action. And I think that, we talk about those levels of awareness.
Yeah.
I think you go through those different phases, and then suddenly you realize that if you're giving to someone else, actually you will make your business grow, because you're going to be learning through that process to coach.
Yeah, definitely.
So my final question for you, what does the Ultimate Founder mean to you? Who would they be?
It would be someone who is passionate about self-development and who cares about impacting other people. Because I always feel as though said impact and the growth of your business and your people that are relying on you falls on how much you're willing to grow and how uncomfortable you're willing to get. And I generally think that when the founder stops having that mentality, then their business will slow down and probably die. So it's actually your obligation to be part of something that's going to challenge you, to be around other founders, to expose yourself to different people's experiences and learnings and brains, for you to then go and give.
Yeah.
To gain.
Thank you. Ross, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Cheers.
Really enjoyed it.